live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you're listening, hope you're doing all right. I want to give a special shout-out to our friends on the Holyfield Television Network. We're glad to be part of Holyfield's television sports programming, and welcome to the show. I also want to give a shout-out to Fight TV. And if you haven't downloaded our app yet, what are you waiting for? Go to Fight, that's F-I-T-E, fight.tv/Billy C. Download our app today. And speaking of Fight TV, if you go to our website, you're going to notice a place where you can finally now watch all of the Fight TV pay-per-views from the luxury of your home right on our website. So, and by the way, they will have the Canelo fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. this weekend, so you can watch it right here on BillyCBoxing.com. Today's show is being brought to you in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant, located in beautiful St. Silent Island, Georgia. Check out the website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Or give my man a call, 912-268-2328. That's 912-268-2328. Find out why I go all the way to St. Simon's to get a decent slice of pizza at Sal's. salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by Gawkbox. What is it? Check it out. Visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the Gawkbox banner. And basically, what Gawkbox is, it helps you, it helps us. So sign up today, Gawkbox. Visit our website and check it out. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by Billy C's Canelo Alvarez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. post-fight show. That's right, we're going to be doing a post-fight show approximately 6 minutes after the official announcement is made. So make sure you tune it in right here late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, to get your thoughts heard, because we're going to open up phone lines and all that happy stuff. And finally, today's show is being brought to us by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold. Pick up a copy. Visit barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. If you want to get a signed copy, visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and, well, you can't miss it there. Today, I know Alex Propali might be stopping by a little bit later, and probably get Dax Khan to swing by. I got some emails to read, and we got some sports scores to catch you up on and all that stuff. But today, and it's been in the news, everybody now wants a shot at Anthony Joshua, of course, which, I mean, now you would assume that everybody wants a shot at him, or maybe not. I don't know. The way a lot of fighters are today, they might be saying, maybe I don't want to fight AJ too soon. But the fight that I want to see, the fight that I think the majority of the boxing public wants to see, is Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder has been pounding his chest, saying he's the best heavyweight in the world, saying he wants a unified title, saying that he wants to fight AJ. I'm not so sure if that's a true statement, or at least his team is not really too sure if they really want to put their smoke screen of a fighter in with Anthony Joshua right now. Now, to defend Deontay a little bit, Anthony Joshua probably has some mandatory defenses coming up and everything else. But while we talk about and get people's thoughts on a potential showdown between AJ and Deontay Wilder and how that fight would go, there's another thing in the news. Tyson Fury, all 800 pounds of him right now, is saying that he can beat Anthony Joshua with one hand tied behind his back. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan, but I'm not so sure about that. Joining me right now is my man. And ladies and gentlemen, you got to welcome. He's a New Jersey Boxing Hall of Famer. He's a Guinness Book of World Record holder. He can throw a pie from here to the moon and back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, please welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sal Rocky Senakola. Good morning, Sal.
Good morning, Billy. How are you today?
Oh, not too bad. We're going to talk a little bit as the show goes on about the possibility of the showdown between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder sometime in the future. But right now, Tyson Fury has been pretty vocal saying that he can beat Anthony Joshua with one hand tied behind his back. As a matter of fact, he says, and I quote, it is the only one the world wants to see, and I'm here. I am the linear world heavyweight champion. I am still number one in the world, and everybody knows that. We all saw he had a life and death situation against Klitschko, but Klitschko couldn't land a glove on me, meaning Tyson Fury. Styles do make fights, but I am sure I can beat AJ with one arm tied behind my back. Now, that's a quote from Tyson Fury. Now, right off the top, what's your thoughts on that quote?
Well, I said the same quote on my comeback, and look what happened. I tripped and I broke and I ripped my rotator cuff. So I hope that doesn't happen to him. But you know what? I think that's just being grandioso, and I understand he's trying to promote something that right now not everybody is on the same page and wanting to see that fight because Tyson Fury's been out of the picture for a little while due to his own demise. But if he's rebuilding and trying to get himself back in the limelight in the picture, well, I think he needs to show the world that he's here to stay and not just a one-fight comeback to satisfy his own cravings and stuff like this. So, you know what? I'd like to see Tyson Fury get back in the ring, have a fight against a formidable opponent, and then let him rat out his mouth and call out anybody else he wants to after that, including Anthony Joshua. But the fight I want to see, and I think the majority of people would like to see, is Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, there's no question about that, and we're going to talk a little about that in a minute. But as far as Tyson Fury is concerned, you know, I've always been a fan of Tyson Fury. I've always liked him, but he's definitely got some holes in his game. Now, if Tyson Fury mentally is looking at his fight against Vladimir Klitschko and comparing his performance, Tyson Fury's performance against Vlad, and then Anthony Joshua's performance against Vlad, I'm not so sure he's looking at the same fights because what I saw in the Tyson Fury versus Vladimir Klitschko fight was Vladimir Klitschko at his cautious self. And the thing about Vlad fighting Tyson Fury was that, he fights different when he's fighting a guy that's his size or bigger. What we saw with Vladimir Klitschko against Anthony Joshua was an aggressive Vladimir Klitschko, a guy that tried to go after Anthony Joshua and take advantage of, his inexperience in the ring. If that version of Klitschko fought Tyson Fury, I'm not so sure that the end result would have been the same. If you recall, Tyson Fury was acting kind of nutty in the ring, doing things unorthodox. And I don't mean, as a lefty, but he was just doing unorthodox stuff that either it got in the head of Vladimir Klitschko or his patience and waiting for that opening, he just ran out of rounds. I think the biggest weakness of Tyson Fury was his chin. We've seen him get rocked before. He does like to lean on fighters. He does like to tie fighters up. But I'm not so sure he would fare too well against Anthony Joshua. If the two fought, and assuming Tyson Fury was at his best, which we would have to assume was, along the lines of his fight against Klitschko, how would you see it going, Sal?
I'll tell you how I would see it going. And for Tyson Fury to make the assumption, because he said one thing that is a truism: styles do make fights, and that's correct. But when you're like, hey, guess what? Well, this guy beat this guy. That means this guy could beat this guy, and this guy will beat here. No, it doesn't work like that because everybody has unique style, and it will gravitate to one's favor when they are the victor, as far as just, I mean, the styles that one has against one opponent doesn't mean it's the exact style that's going to be displayed against another opponent. He has the innate ability to work and offset and do things differently. And I think that if we see Anthony Joshua fight in this kind of fight. I see Joshua. He's not like Mike Tyson. He's not that fast, but I mean, inside he could be explosive. And that uppercut, when those big lanky arms are going to be hugging and mauling, putting his weight on him, I could see Joshua breaking out, uppercut, left hook, boom, right hand, or bang the body. And I think Tyson Fury might be looking for some things that he's not going to be expecting. I mean, I think he's going to be receiving some punches that he's not going to be expecting. I see Anthony Joshua would be a whirlwind inside of Tyson Fury. Like I said, his big long arms hanging on to him, this and that, not the tight inside arms that Anthony Joshua would, boom, uppercut, left hook, right body. I see him explosive in the inside. And Anthony Joshua does have the sense enough to move his head to not be a stationary target from the outside. I see Anthony Joshua beating Tyson Fury.
I agree with your analogy there. First of all, if Tyson Fury tries to maul Anthony Joshua, the fact that Anthony Joshua works the body so efficiently and he's got that killer uppercut. I mean, I haven't seen an uppercut that effective in quite some time. Tyson Fury is going to be finding a soft place to nap. Either that or Anthony Joshua is going to find him a spot. The other thing that I think we have to take in, and trust me, I liked Tyson Fury,
I know you do.
but the one thing I noticed about Tyson Fury, Sal,
I know,
which, Anthony Joshua already passed the test by fighting Vlad. And of course, already, Dax was talking yesterday about, some social media negativity. And already, here we are the second day after the fight, third day after the fight. And, people are already starting to say, well, Klitschko was 41. He hadn't fought. I mean, they're discrediting the win by Anthony Joshua, which is such BS. And I'll tell you something right off the bat. Vladimir Klitschko, you could say what you want about him, but the one thing that I would really have a hard time even talking to somebody that would disagree with what I'm about to say. But Vladimir Klitschko can punch pretty damn hard. I mean, this is a guy with a powerful punch. Now, granted, he didn't throw his monster right enough in the Anthony Joshua fight, and he certainly has really picked and choosed his spots over the last bunch of years when he lets that right hand go. But make no mistake, when he does let it go, and it does land, it usually drops people. And my point is that as big as Tyson Fury is, Tyson Fury doesn't have that kind of power punch. He really doesn't, Sal. If you watch the fights, yes, he's bigger. Yes, he's strong. Yes, he leans on people. And he's got a pretty good uppercut himself. But the truth of the matter is that a guy that big, a guy that's as big as Tyson Fury, a 7-foot guy, right, should be able to land a solid punch and knock you into next month, and he doesn't do it, So I'm not so sure that he's going to be able to keep AJ off him. And you're right, and I agree. If Tyson Fury wants to maul him and lean on him, Anthony Joshua is going to find a home for those rights and lefts to the sides of the body, and Tyson Fury is going to be hurting, right?
I believe it. I can almost visualize this fight exactly how it would go. And I think Anthony Joshua, from the outside of those big long arms, if Tyson Fury tries to box and move and jab and hit him with a long right, Anthony Joshua displayed the other night. He does have some head movement, and he has some agility where he can go side to side and he can avoid a punch. And the thing I want to see from Anthony Joshua is that he's in a position to deliver a punch once he steps aside and avoids it. I think he could do it because he's a good-sized, well-built heavyweight that has his feet underneath him, and I think he can deliver. And as we were saying, not to be redundant, but Tyson Fury trying to lean and maul on him, and the Anthony Joshua that I would see would be the one that would push back, this and that, step back, boom, uppercut, boom, right hand, and just nail him. And I think it'd be lights out for Tyson Fury. I don't think, plus we'd have to see what kind of head Tyson Fury is walking in the ring with. The one that was last time or whatever. We don't know what's going on with him right now. But I think Tyson Fury would definitely be on the receiving end of some heavy punches that Anthony Joshua can deliver. And his suspect chin would definitely have to stand the test, and I don't think it can.
Obviously, Tyson Fury, has beaten Vladimir Klitschko. And he's also, still undefeated. He is the linear champion. And he did give up his belts, never lost them in the ring. So, I could see the fight happening. But Anthony Joshua's got some other fish to fry first. And like you said, Tyson Fury kind of has to fight somebody before he gets an immediate shot. I would doubt it very much if he could somehow weasel his way into an immediate shot back and fight Anthony Joshua. I mean, even David Haye couldn't do that, and David Haye is, a huge smokescreen. But anyway, the topic I want to talk about is the possible matchup between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, because it's the fight that's on everybody's lips, Sal, and I want to talk about that as soon as we come back from our break. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will be talking about the possible matchup between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a $1 million bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call at 800-567-0214 because we're going to let 1 million people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. Call 800-567-0214. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait. Call 800-567-0214. That's 800-567-0214.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Show, and Jeremy C. keeping Billy C. on his toes. I'm so used to hearing one come back from break set of music, and my producer, my imaginary invisible producer, Jeremy C. keeps me on my toes, Sal. But anyway, so let's get on with it here. We got Anthony Joshua, the big talk in boxing right now. And the guy who pounds his chest more than, I mean, King Kong didn't pound his chest as much as Deontay Wilder does. Deontay Wilder tells everybody he's the best. He wants to fight the best. He wants to retire undefeated. He wants to do this. He's the best fighter since Ali. I mean, he's said it all. And I all I do is shake my head because this guy has fought no one. Even the best fighter he fought to date, Berman Stavern, the guy he won the title from, turned out to be a fighter that we all admit now we gave way too many accolades for. Deontay Wilder has fought no one, and some of the guys that he's fought that he should have taken out early, he struggled with and had a hard time. The possibility of a showdown between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder is I'm salivating over the thought of it, because I think even if Deontay Wilder wins the fight, the best heavyweight will emerge. These two guys, forget all the other trinkets, forget all the other belts, forget all the mandatories and all the BS, because quite honestly, I don't even think either one of these guys need title belts around their waist. These are the top two heavyweights in the world today based on statistics, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the fight I think the sport not only wants but needs. We finally need the two top guys, especially in the heavyweight division, to get it on. No marinating, no waiting, no trying to collect other belts. We need these guys to fight ASAP. Sal, let me ask you this. If they fought, how do you see the fight going?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be a layup for Anthony Joshua. This guy's not going to come out there and just lay down, and I know that because Deontay Wilder, he believes what he believes because he has had that fight experience in what he believes are top guys, and he is one that has not been on the receiving end as an opponent. And I think that if he did get in the ring with Anthony Joshua, I would see him trying to move around Joshua, hit him from the outside, hit him with those long right hands and things like that. And again, Joshua would be moving his head, and I think Joshua would be biding his time a little bit, trying to cut the ring off on him. And I think that Joshua would land some solid body shots to possibly slow Deontay Wilder down. And then I think, there they would be if they had a chance to do some infighting again. I think the whirlwind of punches that Anthony Joshua can deliver from the inside, including that uppercut, especially against a tall opponent, would definitely be raising his senses, and he would be lights out. I think in the long run, I would see the fight going past the 6th round, towards the 10th round, but I see Anthony Joshua would probably knock out Deontay Wilder. That's how I would see the fight going.
Let's I'll take a look at the fight right now. Just, off the top of my head. I got no stats in front of me. I got nothing, all right? Except the old noggin, which is starting to slip a little. But I will say this.
Forget about it.
It's a terrible thing, the mind, when it starts to go. But I will tell you this. Deontay Wilder, let's take a look at his assets. He's tall. We've seen him use the jab effectively in one fight. Uno fight. And that was against Berman Stavern because he was scared to death to get hit. Because everybody thought that, Stavern was this knockout artist and everything else. And he incorporated, in my opinion, his best game plan and followed his best game plan throughout that fight. That very well may have been his best performance, even though it was a long time ago. So I'm going to give him the fact that he's got a long reach, he's tall and lanky, and assuming that he hasn't forgotten how to use the jab, he's got a decent jab. And the other attribute that he has is that he's got a knockout punch. There's no question that Deontay Wilder has a one-punch knockout right hand. There's no question, all right? Now, when I take a look at Anthony Joshua, we know that Anthony Joshua is a fighter that definitely has knockout power in both hands. I believe that Anthony Joshua is a better body puncher than Deontay Wilder. And I think that Anthony Joshua, when he goes into attack mode, is much more accurate than Deontay Wilder. With all that said, me personally, the negatives I've seen with Anthony Joshua to this point, and really it was the first time, was this past Saturday, because he never had gone deep into a fight before, and we saw him run out of gas. That's a serious problem for him that I'm sure they're going to go and work on, because that's something he would need to tighten up if he fights Deontay Wilder. I doubt Deontay Wilder would have let him survive, and I'm not suggesting that Klitschko let him survive, but I think Deontay would have, because he's younger, would have been able to step on the gas and hurt Anthony Joshua when he seemingly shot his load in that fight against Klitschko, when he dropped him and then was pretty much exhausted out on his feet.
He was just spent.
He left himself wide open. He was taking shots, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something that Anthony Joshua has to tighten up. But the one negative on Deontay Wilder, aside from him, never fighting anybody and being basically Toro from Harder They Fall character, he doesn't like it when you're aggressive. If you go and watch his fights, even guys that he's eventually knocked out, and even guys that don't have the talent level that certainly Anthony Joshua has, he doesn't like it when he's on his back foot and he stops throwing punches. And I think the game plan for Anthony Joshua should be just that. I think Anthony Joshua should go and attack Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's a little uncoordinated. I know they all say that he's a great athlete, he's this, he's that, but I think he's a little uncoordinated. I think that Anthony Joshua, if he employs a body attack and an aggressive game plan where he's going forward, keeps his hands up, I think he takes out Deontay Wilder fairly early. That's what I see, Sal.
I think you're 100% right, and not to say all taller, thinner fighters are gawky or whatever, but sometimes their feet aren't exactly underneath them at all times, and they're a little off balance at times. And I see that with Deontay Wilder, which is why he doesn't like to have somebody be aggressive, because I don't think he can fight backwards or step backwards as easily as he would like to be, graceful on foot. And I think Joshua's attack should be that. He should be coming into that fight like the shorter opponent, maybe crouching down, jabbing, looking for those body shots, and looking to slip underneath those jabs and that right hand, and coming in with the hook to the body, to the liver, and then hit him with some right hands. Not that he has to fight like a shorter, smaller fighter, but he's got to keep himself tighter. Hands up, body moving, waist there, looking to deliver in the body, up to the head. And I have in my mind Anthony Joshua. There are very few fighters that can withstand an Anthony Joshua locomotive train coming out at them like the fifth round that he went after Klitschko. Unfortunately, he ran out of gas. But that's what you said to bring to light. If he works on his conditioning, does those wind sprints, punches bell to bell, and takes care of that conditioning element of his repertoire, then I think that Anthony Joshua is going to be a very, very dangerous hard man to beat. Because right now they're going to be looking everybody at his conditioning as one of the holes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the game plan to beat Anthony Joshua would be to take him into the later rounds, try and tire him out, or play possum, let him punch himself out. But that's a dangerous thing with a guy that big and strong,
And he came back. He did have his second win, and look, don't forget, Bill. This guy came out. We both, you and I, had it scored evenly in the 8th round, that fight, and I was, like I said, I kind of pulled for Klitschko. I really wanted to see him finish strong. He needed to finish those last 4 rounds, and then to my surprise, Anthony Joshua came out the 9th round pretty strong, came out the 10th round pretty strong, and we know what happened with the 11th round. So he seemed to have gotten his second win, and the fight was all but over for Klitschko going into that 11th round.
I mean, listen, youth prevails, and when you look at those two fighters, I mean, they're both young, and the stamina issue hasn't seemed to be a problem, or hasn't been a problem to date with Deontay Wilder, but he too hasn't gone, many times. Only once he went the distance. So listen. I think you said it best. I think that, that fight, if I'm Anthony Joshua, I try to get in tight and smother Deontay Wilder. Don't let him use his arm reach. Maybe be a little more fluid. And what I watched with Anthony Joshua when he fought Klitschko was the first couple of rounds, he seemed flat-footed. When I was taking my notes, I'm saying he's not moving enough, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. And then as the fight progressed, all of a sudden he started moving around. So he did show that he's got some footwork. And, what I think he needs to do with Deontay Wilder, and I know this is going to sound crazy because Deontay Wilder is a seek and destroy type of fighter, but I think that Anthony Joshua needs to seek and destroy Deontay Wilder. I think that the guy who can control the ring the best in that matchup is going to win the fight. Because, even though I feel that Anthony Joshua is way more talented than Deontay Wilder from top to bottom, you still got to respect Deontay Wilder's power. And, Anthony Joshua can't certainly take him lightly because he doesn't want to get caught with something. But I think a body attack and then ultimately an uppercut is going to send Deontay Wilder to the canvas, and he will once and for all be exposed. He has never fought anyone to this caliber. But on the other hand, Sal, I don't think they're going to let him fight Anthony Joshua. I think the last guy that you're going to see Deontay Wilder fight is Anthony Joshua. I can foresee Deontay Wilder fighting the winner of the Joseph Parker fight, and then claiming that he's the best. I could see the whole smokescreen coming. Everything but fight Anthony Joshua. That's what I see.
It's a shame because, they talk about footwork and sidestepping. Yeah, that's maybe what his camp will have in mind, and they'll come up with any reason and every reason. But the bottom line is, I think the fans and other people may look to push and demand that fight, and that's what we're going to have to do to make that fight happen, because I don't think Deontay Wilder is going to want to do that fight as easily as Anthony Joshua may. You're so funny when you're talking about, Anthony Joshua on his feet. Yeah, he was, Paulie Malignaggi was coming out with a new term I haven't heard too much. He was taking up or owning the real estate in the ring.
Yeah, but that's a true statement. Hey, listen, Sal, hold that thought because we got to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll finish up that. I got some emails to read. We got a fight on tonight that I want to talk a little about. So all of that is coming up, and we'll be back in about 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a $1 million bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call at 800-567-0214 because we're going to let 1 million people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. Call 800-567-0214. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait. Call 800-567-0214. That's 800-567-0214.
This message is for all Americans that owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS. Look, I know you want to keep ignoring those letters, but the problem isn't going away. It's really stressful, and you don't know where to turn.
The good news is you have rights, and we can help resolve your IRS problems.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, our qualified CPAs, tax negotiators, and support staff know the law and know how to get your situation under control legally and permanently.
Call the number on your screen now and we will contact the IRS on your behalf, help you end wage garnishments, stop collection calls, remove tax liens, get rid of IRS and state tax penalties, and reduce the amount you owe if you qualify. You wouldn't go to fix your car without going to a mechanic, so why face the IRS without an experienced company that can help you?
Let us take the stress of back taxes and the IRS off your shoulders so you can spend time on the important things in your life, like your family or your business. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, call now and find out how we can help you.
At BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C Show, and I hope you're doing all right. I want to give a special shout out to all of our viewers on Holyfield TV. We're glad to be part of Holyfield TV's sports programming, and we want to welcome you to the show. And don't forget, you can email us directly with any of your thoughts, comments, concerns. Be part of the show. Email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing. I'm here with my man, Sal Rocky Senakola. And Sal, the bottom line is this. Deontay Wilder has been very vocal about how he wants to fight. He wants it. It's time for him to put up or shut up, I think. And listen, make no mistake. You got Anthony Joshua all of a sudden saying, "Oh, we got mandatories. You got to fight this guy. You got to fight that guy. You got to, all the winner of Briggs Oquendo. You got to fight the IBF #1 guy." So listen, we can't blame it all on Deontay. The bottom line is these two fighters, both Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, have to say to their people, "Hey, forget about it all. I don't care if they strip me of the title. I want to fight Deontay Wilder." The boxing fans know who the two best fighters are, at least by stat. What's your thoughts? They got to make the fight happen.
They've got to. And first, I just want to correct myself. I said earlier about the real estate. Paulie was talking more as far as Klitschko dominating the ring space in that fight during that night. I almost alluded to the fact that it sounded like Joshua was with his moving side to side, but that's what he meant it for. But getting back to your question and your statement, yes, the fans have to demand this fight, and the powers that may be have to listen. And this should be in the best interest of the heavyweight division in the sport to get these two gentlemen in the ring and see who the best pound for pound the chest, I was going to say, not pound for pound to the chest is going to be the better man and come up with his hand raised as a victor. And I believe it's going to be Anthony Joshua, but this fight would be a great fight to have, and it would put up or shut up, really. That's what it would do. And like I said all along, I don't blame Deontay Wilder to believe his own press clippings and things like that. And in some of the fights, I am sure that it's been a lot of his team behind him that has steered or directed his his next opponents in line. But he right now he's got to call himself out and call Joshua out and vice versa. And let's get these two heavyweight guys in the ring and see who's the best fighter.
When does a fighter have to turn around and say, make the fight? I mean, let's be real. All this time I've been assuming, you know what they say about that? I've been assuming that Deontay Wilder is the guy that truly listen, I've said it all along. I think Deontay Wilder's a fraud, okay? But not the man. Not Deontay Wilder the man. Because I truly believe, and this is the sad part in a way, I truly believe that Deontay Wilder feels deep down that he is the best. And I respect him for that. And I respect him for the reasons that he fights. And, he seems like a good human being, okay? So I respect the man. But, the truth of the matter is at some point in time, he's going to have to just say, I want this fight. There could be, and like I was starting to say, assuming, he could be hiding behind the fact that his management won't let him fight the real fights. He could be saying, I want to fight these guys, but, my team says we got to fight this one next. Or my obligation to the WBC is I got to fight this guy next, or whatever. He could be using that as an excuse. When does a fighter have to grab the bull by the horn, Sal, and say, I don't care about the mandatories. I don't care about, taking a risk. I want to prove that I'm the best, just like people used to do, just like fighters did back in the day. The only way to prove you're the best is to demand to fight the best. And when you come out on top, nobody can argue with you. The late, great Sam Langford, they used to always say to him, are you worried about getting a fair judge? Are you worried about this or that? And he used to say, no, I bring my own judges with me to fights. People used to look at him like, huh? He says, my left and my right. Those are the judges. You make the fight happen. You make the result happen. If you can't, then you do like Vladimir Klitschko did on Saturday night, and you give the accolades to the guy that beat you. He was the better man tonight. End of story. How and why and when should Deontay Wilder just say, make this fight, I got to roll the dice?
Well, bottom line is, he's not going to do that unless he feels in his heart of hearts that he has to. In other words, unless he feels that his fans, the majority of the world boxing public, are demanding this, as long as he's going through with his mandatories, as long as he's going through with everything else, he can and he will continue to say, well, I got to do this, I got to do that. And you know what? So I'm telling you, he will demand that fight when he feels that he's being called out as an imposter by all, including his own fans. But until then, he's going to do as his promotional team and his managers or manager guide him along. He's going to fulfill his obligations to do the mandatories. He's going to fight who he's supposed to fight. And he's going to make reference, and he's going to call out Joshua. He wants to fight him, he wants to fight him, he wants to fight him. But until that bubble is going to be about to pop, he's not going to do anything as far as taking the initiative to make that fight happen, unless he's being called out as an imposter by his own fans. And he's got a great fan base. That's how I see it, Billy. I'm sorry. He's going to go along, and nobody can call him out differently if he's doing his mandatories, if he's facing top opponents in the so-called mandatory list. And then Joshua will eventually get the fight when all is said and done and dried up, and the fans are demanding and calling for it, and calling him out on it, and he feels, hey, I got to show I'm a man, and I got to do it. That's how I see it.
Deontay Wilder has went to anybody that'll listen. There's been stories written about him saying it. There's quotes taken. He said it to ESPN. He was ringside in England over the weekend. I mean, this is a guy that says, I want to fight AJ. I want to fight AJ. It's the same thing. Just like Canelo. Canelo lost all my respect when he says, us Mexicans don't F around. And he ran. He ran from Triple G. So, I mean, the same thing is happening. Listen, you can say all you want about, oh, well, I'm a WBC champion or whatever, and they're making me fight so-and-so because that's my mandatory. You know what? Every single sanctioning body will make exceptions. If you sign the fight, and you think for a minute that even as greedy as these sanctioning bodies are, and trust me, nobody's more greedy than the sanctioning bodies, okay? As greedy as the sanctioning bodies are, do you think for a minute that any one of them would want to pass up an opportunity to be involved with such a mega showdown as Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder would be? And the funny thing about it is it shows you the success of marketing and smoke screening that Team Deontay Wilder has had by even making us talk about him as it's a huge event. I mean, I thought that Vladimir Klitschko against Anthony Joshua was the biggest event in heavyweight boxing, and now all of a sudden the next one is Deontay Wilder. And the truth of the matter is me personally, I think the guy out there that would give Anthony Joshua the most trouble isn't named Deontay Wilder, isn't named Tyson Fury, but the name is Luis Ortiz. And the reason why I say Luis Ortiz, Sal, is because Luis Ortiz, he is a full package when he wants to be. When he's ready and when he's, mentally into a fight. He's got a quick jab. He's got powerful punch, a powerful right. He's got decent movement. I mean, he's a well-rounded fighter when he wants to be. He gets bored just like other fighters do. I think that the fight between Ortiz, which may come up as a mandatory for the WBA side, would be a better fight for Anthony Joshua than Deontay Wilder. But the reason why I say take Deontay Wilder first is to, number one, shut up Deontay Wilder, and number two, collect the belts. Then systematically take the number one contenders, just like it used to be. We got the best fighting the best. Then everybody else, after Deontay Wilder gets knocked out by Anthony Joshua, I don't think anybody can argue that the best fighter in the world is Anthony Joshua. And then every other fighter fight each other, work your way up to that number one spot, and take a shot at Anthony Joshua. What's your thoughts, Sal Rocky Senakola?
Well, that sounds too fundamentally sound and too good for boxing to interpret and to follow, because that's common sense, that's wisdom, that's great. It's like the old pizza saying, you've had the rest, now try the best. Well, you know what? You fight the best, then you take on the rest. And that should be the motto. I agree with you, Billy Sir. And we're just going to have to wait and see how this is going to come to fruition and what is steaming. And you're right. These sanctioning bodies do not doubt for 1 minute. They're opening up that dialogue right now, and they're trying to see what is going to be in the future as far as these two fighters coming into the ring and what they can expect as far as a revenue-raising fight that everybody could benefit from. So that dialogue's been open. I'm just saying, it's going to happen when these sanctioning bodies all agree upon, the time, the location, and everything else. Prior to, we may see Deontay Wilder fighting somebody else. But I think the fight should be made as soon as possible, so there is no risk of anybody else tripping up this work, and just get it on. Get it on now.
The joke of the sport is, you got to fight this weekend. Joseph Parker going up against Kajonu for the WBA title. We'll break that fight down later in the week. Then you have the Shannon Briggs, 44-year-old Shannon Briggs fighting Frezequenno, and Shannon Briggs hasn't fought anybody, even remotely in the top 20 in the last 100 years. And Frezequenno hasn't even fought since 2015. And this is a guy. These guys are fighting for the WBA. So the winner of that fight is going to get a shot. I mean, so the mandatories are a joke. I mean, realistically, right now, the four names in the heavyweight division. You got Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko, who just lost, Deontay Wilder, who I think is a fraud, but he's still up there, and Luis Ortiz. Those are the main names in the sport right now, and those are the ones that need to fight Anthony Joshua. But I got some emails to read real quick. First and foremost, let me get you guys caught up on some other happenings in the world of sports. The NBA playoffs are continuing with the second round, or the next round, I should say. The Cavaliers beat the Raptors last night, 116-105 to take a 1-0 lead in that series. And in the other series, the Rockets and the Spurs, the Rockets take a one-game series lead over the Spurs. They won 126-99, beating them by 25 points. Was not close. Over in the NHL, the playoffs continue there. The Capitals beat the Penguins 3-2. The Penguins lead that series 2-1. Over in baseball, The Orioles topped the Red Sox 5-2. The Blue Jays over your Yankees 7-1. The Yankees going into I think yesterday's games. If they didn't have the best record in the majors, they certainly had the second best. The Tigers over the Indians 7-1. The Reds and Pirates took 10 innings to get that game over, and the Reds came out on top 4-3. The Rays over the Marlins, a battle of Florida, 4-2. The Mets, believe it or not, they won. They beat the Braves, the hapless Braves, 7-5. The Phillies over the Cubs, 10-2. The Astros over the Rangers, 6-2. The Royals topped the White Sox, 6-1. The Brewers over the Cardinals, 7-5 and 10. And the Giants beat the Dodgers, 4-3. My first email is from my man Jesse. He says, hey, Billy C. and Sal, I saw the Vladimir versus Joshua fight and didn't find it as exciting as you guys did. Maybe due because I didn't watch it live. Both fighters showed some flaws. For example, Vlad with his arms extended for defense and Joshua not having such a great cardio. I know Joshua is learning as he goes, but he must not get as tired. Both fighters showed great fortitude to get up from the knockdowns. Is there such thing as a great chin in the heavyweight division? I agree with Dax of what he said about Vlad not throwing enough punches. Vlad probably should have finished him in 2 occasions, but was inactive and inaccurate. Still not solid, still not sold in Joshua as the best heavyweight, but he's getting better with every fight. Next fight should be Joshua versus Wilder or Povetkin or Pulov or Ortiz or Parker or Fury next. Bellew versus Wilder is a joke. I can't believe Bellew on TV said he is one of the best heavyweights in the division after he beat, supposedly his own words, the boogeyman Hay. That's a joke. That is a joke. I mean, David Hay is a fraud. He, as a heavyweight, was a fraud. Never beat anybody substantial. And to suggest that Wilder fight Bellew, if Wilder fights Bellew, I think he's going to lose a lot of credibility and respect. What do you think, Sal?
I think so too. I mean, you know, we talk about this round robin, about the pairing of these heavyweights, and yeah, I don't think that's going to be much credibility in my book.
I mean, for him to even fight a guy, Tony Bellew, they had a grudge match fight with David Hay. I mean, you know, and Tony Bellew is a cruiserweight. You know, if Anthony, I mean, if Deontay Wilder picks Bellew over anyone else, I don't have much respect for him as it is. But if he picks that, that's I'm gonna lose. I have respect for him as a man, but not as a fighter. But anyway, another email I have here. This one's from my man Gilif. He says, "Hey Billy C, I'm loving the show as always. The last one that you had titled AJ against Vladimir Klitschko's final thoughts was the best show I've seen in a long time. I love your guest. Sal seems knowledgeable, and Dax is hilarious. Anyway, I just wanted to add my 2 pounds worth, sterling, that is. He says, first of all, kudos to you, Billy, as I remember you spotting AJ early on and a few years ago back, and you said that he was the future of the heavyweight division. I think after this fight, we can at least safely say he has now confirmed his arrival as a genuine world heavyweight champ. The main point I wanted to make today was that while AJ has proven himself in terms of character, heart, chin, great combos, and power, I have some real question marks over that stamina. You mentioned he perhaps needs to work on his conditioning, but I'm not so sure this is totally accurate. I'm a huge AJ fan, so don't get me wrong, but this is the concern I have. The way I see it, it may be that AJ needs to train in the manner he does, building all that muscle to generate the power he does. But the downside of this is that muscle density he develops saps the energy, and he can only fight in spurts. I'm wondering what you think of this, Billy C. Do you feel he needs to amend his training regimen in some way? I believe he already does loads of cardio, so I don't think it's a conditioning issue, more to do with muscle density problems. Looking for your thoughts. Hope all is well. Thank you, Gilef, and it's another UK listener, Sal, so we got quite a bit of them now, which is great. And I told you, one of my goals would be to do a live show in England at some point in the future. So I hope we can make that happen. But what does a fighter that's got so much muscle density, what can they do in order to prevent what obviously happened to Anthony Joshua, running out of gas? And Gilif was 100% correct. he did fight in spurts, and he did have lots of energy in those spurts. You know, cardio, the definition of cardio, I still think running outside. I mean, what you're a former fighter. What can he do?
All right, I'm not a physiologist or anything like that, but or a dietitian, but I could just tell you from the school of experience that I've encountered, you know, muscle tissue is heavier and denser than fat tissue, and you have to oxygenate those muscles with your oxygen flow, and the red blood vessels carrying those oxygens, that oxygen throughout your body, and I would suggest that he incorporates the aerobic and the anaerobic, which I said earlier on some of the shows is represented by sprinting or by interval running or by mixing it up. You know, we had a code that I trained to. It was like you fight like you train like you fight, like you fight. And many times I would go out for a nice distance run. I'd recover with an easier jog. Then the next day I would do wind sprints, and then the next day I would do a jog. Then the next day I would do interval training around a track, run a quarter mile, then jog a quarter mile, then I would do different things to change up my body. So, and you know, believe it or not, you guys go online, you'll see I could punch bell to bell for 10 rounds, and there was no problem with my conditioning, never. And you know, Vince Lombardi, fatigue makes cowards of us all. I also have to consider one of my greatest attributes for my outlining my training and my regiment was my buddy Jerry Palmieri, who was a former world-class amateur fighter, gold medalist in international competition, and four-time Jersey Golden Glove champion, who went on to school in physiology and nutrition, dietary, and he the head strength training coach of the New York Giants, and he took the time to outline my diet, outline my training regimen. And Jerry, I love the guy. I mean, I was flawless when it came to conditioning. The other thing I have to also say is the diet of carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. A fighter needs complex carbohydrates, and that is stored in your liver, and that's the glycogen, your fuel. And believe it or not, you could deplete that inside of 20 minutes, but you've got to be able to elongate it, mix it with the mixture of fat and glycogen for energy to go throughout a whole fight. And how do you do that? Again, it's your diet, your conditioning. But I think he should start incorporating a complex carbohydrate diet. And I could reference to a book that I also spent my time with, but it was a book that I love the diet that I outlined. I cooked all my own food. And like I said, you have a complex carbohydrates, you intake that, you do some protein, and you got to eat some fat, because that too helps your body to burn away some calories as energy. So he's got to look at his diet, he's got to look at his conditioning, and he's got to eat more complex carbohydrates.
You know, the one thing, Sal, is, you know, the point that Gilif makes is a good one. You know, his muscle tone, he's got so much muscle. And,
yeah, it's heavy. It's
muscle, you know, takes your oxygen. You know, I mean, and he's right. He's got a good point. I think that obviously, you know, maybe he's eating right and doing all those things, but the piece that's missing out isn't. I think the factor here is cardio, but not by definition of what they do today. I would rather see him start to do a little more road work. You know, maybe at times when, like after he's you know, working the weights, and maybe he should lay off the heavy weights. You know, maybe start reducing you know, weights to you know, reps and not bulk. You know, and
exactly,
and you know, maybe after his muscle is you know, burning up oxygen, that's when he does some road work. You know, run outside, maybe run hills, maybe run in the woods. You know, that's very good. Rocky Marciano used to do that all the time. You know, that's the only thing. You know, either that or he's got to learn how to pace himself, and he certainly can't put himself in a position like he did punching himself out. And one thing he's definitely got to do, is learn how to hold, you know, because if he runs out of gas, he's got to recoup. He's got to catch his breath. and by leaving his hands draped to his side and putting a bullseye on his head isn't a smart move. But anyway, hey, listen, we're going to take a short break, and guess what, Sal? When we come back, my man Alex Propali is going to join us, and we will be talking with him on his thoughts about the Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko fight from Saturday night. We weren't able to get him on the post-fight show because of our technical issues, and then we'll give him an opportunity to give his thoughts on the possible matchup, the one that we all want, Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in about, 2 minutes or so.
Billy C will be right back.
Check out Billy.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a $1 million bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call at 800-567-0214 because we're going to let 1 million people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. Call 800-567-0214. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait. Call 800-567-0214. That's 800-567-0214.
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free. Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love.
Of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And don't forget about my book. That's right. Get a copy of it right now. Just visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com. You can't miss it there. Or just go to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. There's many places you can go and get a copy. So make sure you do that as soon as you can, and we can go from there. But anyway, joining us right now is my man Alex Propali, but I'm not so sure your video is working, my man. What's up, Alex? Well, I guess Alex is not there. Are you there, Sal?
I'm here. I saw Alex, but he just disappeared.
Yeah, I think he's having some issues there.
There he is.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
All right. Well, we don't see a video, but what's going on, Alex?
Well, you can't see my video?
No, we can't. But
I see your picture.
all right. Well, let me do this first while you get your stuff set there. We got Briggs, Shannon Briggs in Fresequendo is fighting in June, and we got some quotes. And to me, this is a joke of a fight. But Shannon Briggs says, I'm working very hard right now with some great sparring partners that are pushing me to the limit. Fight night will be a long one for Fresequendo. Let's go, champ. Basically, he's become a cartoon character, in my opinion. Fresequendo, a guy that hasn't fought in quite a while, says the trials and tribulations I've encountered for 30 years in the sport and 20 as a pro are finally coming to fruition. They say third time around is a charm, but the fourth is the holy grail and most special. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll take it from there. But in any event, we're having some issues with my man Alex. So Sal, I'll go back to you here for a minute and ask you, what's your thoughts on the fight between Briggs and Aquendo? I mean, where does this fall in place with the heavyweight division?
I'll tell you, Billy, lack of my desire to really identify or spot this, I'm gonna have to wait to see who wins, and then I'll give you my opinion. I'm telling you right now, I guess it's gonna happen, and but I really don't have anything to say about it until after the fact. Let's see how they look, let's see what happens, and let's see who comes out with their hand raised in the air, and then I'll give you all my thoughts about what should happen next for either fighter.
Do you think it's an important fight?
Are we going to use the word significant? I'll tell you what. I think it's an important fight for Briggs. I think it's an important fight for each of them. But like I said, it doesn't. I don't see how it plays into the whole realm of the top contenders that need to face each other right now. So, like I said, I'm going to wait till after the fight. I think it's an important fight for each of them. For the overall division, I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
No, I do. I think it's just a typical move with the fact that mandatories and BS fights and all of that. You know what I mean? It's bad for the sport.
Well, exactly, and like I said, I do not really see, the value long term until I want to see who comes out the victor and what they're going to do, and then I'll give my opinion and tell you what I think should happen. But yeah, I'll watch the fight, of course. But you have anybody you think? How do you see this fight going down?
Well, I think that I think that Geritol. I think that Geritol is making some money with it because these guys are in their later years, so to speak.
They show up in the form of a brown bottle.
But anyway, yeah, we can safely say that we could safely say that I don't think it's going to be an exciting fight. Do you?
No, I don't think it's an exciting fight. No. I think it's going to be a waltz around the ring. I think it's going to be a hug and hold, and it's going to see. Well, that's just it. I'm just giving my opinion, but I will tell you this: we'll wait to see how it pans out. Maybe it's going to be a sleeper. Maybe it's going to be a fight that we're both going to be shocked to see. But we'll wait to see what happens.
Yeah, well, I think it's sad. I think it's sad for the sport that we're doing
It's
this.
step back.
It's definitely a step back. You know, I think it's sad. But listen, Sal, we're gonna try and connect with Alex one more time. We're gonna give Alex another shot here. So we're gonna take one short break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll have Alex on. If not, we can catch him tomorrow. So we'll be back in about 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call at 800-567-0214 because we're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. Call 800-567-0214. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait. Call 800-567-0214. That's 800-567-0214.
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Show. I want to give a special shout out to all of our new viewers on Holyfield TV. We're very happy to be on Holyfield TV's sports programming, and I hope you're enjoying the show. And don't forget, download our app. Go to Fight, that's F-I-T-E. Go to fight.tv/BillyC. Download our app, and you can watch the big fight this weekend. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. challenging Canelo Alvarez right on the front page of our website. So check it out, www.billycboxing.com. Well, joining us right now, I think, is Alex Propali. What's up, Alex?
Good morning, C. Good morning, Sal. How you guys doing? Sorry.
Good morning, Alex.
Hey, Sal, double check your video, will you, my man? Because, Alex messed everything up on us here. He kicked out your video. So double check that. But anyway, Alex, what's your thoughts first and foremost on the fight from this past weekend, Anthony Joshua against Vladimir Klitschko?
I think it was absolutely tremendous. Such a great moment for boxing. I think that one of the things that was amazing was that you learned so much about Joshua. He proved so much about himself in one fight. Questions that sometimes fighters go their whole career and don't answer, where they're able to, be badly hurt and come back, rally and come back, and to come back in such emphatic fashion. It was just a great night. The ending when they had that nice post-fight interview that was just all class between the two of them, and Joshua looked out into the crowd and thanked Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis and Roy Jones for the inspiration. That was a wonderful moment. That he really is a breath of fresh air for the sport. I heard a caller on another show last night saying that they wouldn't, a Londoner saying that he's going to be knighted. They're just sure that at some point he'll be knighted. The guy is beloved. I hope, the thing that was so great at the end is that he not only did he congratulate those former great legendary fighters that were ringside, they knew to come there, they were going to see something. But also we saw Vlad Klitschko's probably his best performance, which is amazing considering how long he reigned, that at 41, he answers more questions that we didn't even know about him. We didn't know he had guts like that. So it was just a tremendous fight. I think some of the accolades have been a little overboard. It's not fight of the year, if only because our expectations of heavyweights are less. There was a lot of dull rounds. It's not the sustained action was not there like for Holyfield Bowe, or even for just thinking of some of the great heavyweight championship fights. Layman Brewster versus Sergey Lyakovich was a pretty good fight. That 5th and 6th round were absolutely tremendous, absolutely legendary. It is an instant classic, no doubt about that.
The thing is, though, Alex, what I think makes that fight among the top fights is the fact that we haven't seen an action-packed heavyweight fight for quite some time, at least a dual-sided one. We've seen one side of heavyweight fights where one guy just blows out the other. And I think the thing about this fight, and I've said this many times, is that if Vladimir Klitschko fought this style fight, the way he fought against Anthony Joshua this past weekend, and similar to the way he fought Kubrat Pulev when they fought, we'd be talking and thinking of Vladimir Klitschko 100% differently than we do today. We can't discredit him. He's been there, done that. He showed at 41 years old he was very viable in the ring. And Anthony Joshua answered all of the questions that we had for him, at least some of them. He did maybe throw a couple more out at us, but, and I hate to go against my own rule, but he is still young, and he is still learning, and he's learning against the best guys available. So I think by today's standard, in the heavyweight division, obviously it's not, the most exciting fight in all divisions, but as far as the heavyweight division, I honestly can't recall a more exciting and meaningful fight that I've seen in quite some time. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely the 5th and the 6th are the best two heavyweight championship rounds probably in 25 years. And I think that the whole fight itself was definitely one of the greatest of Vladimir Klitschko's entire reign. So you're talking about 10 years. That's what's so crazy about it, was that really was one of those fights where Vladimir Klitschko rose to and answered questions about himself at 41 that we never saw before, and that this kid, who is still developing to some degree before our eyes, even though he's the champion, rose to the occasion and answered all the questions we had that could have been asked. And like you said, we've come up with some new ones, and I think they are intriguing to think that such a guy who's such a pinnacle of physique could have a problem with stamina. But it might, as Sal was saying, it might be a little more complicated than that. It might not just be get back out there and run more. It could be something mixed with recovery, because there's no doubt about it. He punched himself out. So with all that big body, all that lactic acid now that's in being released from his muscles, he couldn't recover fast enough. Whereas other fighters can. I mean, the only one, and I wrote it in the chat room, the one I think about in recent memory that was tremendous with that recovery was Tim Bradley against Provodnikov. He seemed to be able to summon energy reserves from somewhere unearthly. Joshua needs to think about that. But that's a pretty small question when you think about, heavyweight champions. I mean, Mike Tyson never answered. Never. As great as he was, as impactful he was in the heavyweight division, he never answered the questions Joshua was posed and answered beautifully on Saturday night.
Listen,
so in some of the ways, we really might have seen the start of a whole new age.
There's no doubt about that. Hey, listen, nobody had better recuperative powers in the heavyweight division than Evander Holyfield, and I was never a huge Evander Holyfield fan, but I've never witnessed anything like it, and I agree with you about Timothy Bradley. I just wonder how exactly did Anthony Joshua recover so well? I mean, he was out on his feet, and then and both Sal and I had to fight even in the ninth round. I know I had caught a comment from you in the chat room yesterday that you had it. You scored that knockdown round 10-9, which I could definitely see that. I mean, it was a miracle that Joshua stood on his feet after he dropped Klitschko, but I had to fight even up going into that ninth round with 4 full rounds to go. And I remember saying to myself, man, this fight is going to be determined right now in these 4 rounds.
Me too.
And the truth of the matter was that's when the fight really broke out. I mean, despite both of them hitting the canvas earlier, and like you suggested, it did start off a little slow. But from the ninth round on, I mean, it was anybody's fight. And I'll tell you, I was on that. This fight had something. To me, anyway, I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, once I got through the ring walks, which were extravagant, and that's an understatement. Once I got through that, I was on the edge of my seat, Alex. I really was.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's the thing about it, and I think that's why everybody is so taken aback and appropriately enjoying what we got to see was that, and the reason. Because the heavyweight division, the stakes are higher than anywhere else. Each guy can put each other out with one shot. And these monsters could do it, at least physically, they looked like they could do it. And we knew from their records, they could do it more, and they could knock each other into next week with one shot. And eventually they did. And that was pretty amazing to get to see that, to see guys 6'6", 250, throwing bombs at each other and enduring them. You don't see that very often. That's the thing about heavyweight boxing is there's nothing like it. This was a chance to. I think the other thing about it is that anybody who says that it would be nice to see Wilder versus Fury. But I don't think boxing fans here in America care about boxing as much as the Brits do. You couldn't fill a stadium like that here in this country for Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. So in a way, it's sort of interesting because, again, even though for years now we've sort of reached this age of the sort of post-American super fight where a boxing match could be enormous, that have nothing to do with any American in the headlines or even be fought in America, and it be something that moves the whole sport. This is certainly an example of that. Both guys are foreign-born, and yet it's going to be interesting to see what the ratings are. But, yeah, I think we are at the start of a new age. One thing that did give me a chill is I loved when Joshua mentioned talking about fighting Fury and talking about Wilder, but then he mentioned Shannon Briggs. And I hope to God he does not go in the direction of fighting the winner of Briggs Oquendo, because, he could regress. We saw Deontay Wilder regress in his choices of opponents. So I hope he continues to challenge himself, but it was a tremendous night.
Sal,
Well said,
the thing here that Alex was talking about, we mentioned a little earlier, the issue with Shannon Briggs, if Shannon Briggs beats Frez Oquendo and becomes a titleist, that's a different story. I mean, if he starts cleaning up the division and fighting, the champions. You can't knock them for that. It's taken a Shannon Briggs that doesn't have any trinket and fighting him like Deontay Wilder does. Sal, what do you think on that?
Well, that's the whole thing. Exactly, is the credibility. Where do they stand in the picture of the realm of the contendership for the heavyweight championship of the world? Where are they? Where will they be after this fight takes place? And do they earn their spot because of who they were when they were, or do they actually, because the forces that may be will now allow them to get in the ring, have a mandatory here or there? That's why I said we got to see how it pans out after the fight.
No, I was going to say, Alex, I just wanted to say about the potential showdown between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua is our topic today. And first of all, I think Anthony Joshua was in the driver's seat, and I think that fight would clearly be in England should Deontay Wilder grow the hairs on his you-know-whats to step in the ring with him. I truly believe that Deontay Wilder, not as a man, but as a fighter, is a fraud. And I think that Anthony Joshua will beat him. And I think he will beat him pretty soundly, as in knocking him out. And I do believe that fight has to take place. As a matter of fact, we were talking earlier, and Sal and I both agree that it should have no bearing on titles. At this point, I think both Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua have gotten to the point, their status and the way that fight fans look at them, it wouldn't matter if they were stripped of the belts. This is the fight they want to see. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's the good news, is that the potential for a Wilder versus Joshua match is just tantalizing, because even though I agree with you, I think Joshua beats him and beats him relatively easily. But I do think that the matchup is enormous. The potential money making that these guys could make in terms of salaries is absolutely ridiculous, because they're heavyweights, and not only that, they're undefeated and they're huge punchers. So it's really amazing. It's great for us because, as they say, so go the heavyweights, so goes boxing. And I think that we are, but see, one thing this is different though, because when Tyson Fury defeated Vlad Klitschko, it was exciting because we saw an upset, but the fight was so dreadful. We really, as excited as it was, we were a little hesitant to take that big breath of fresh air. And we were right to be hesitant because he destroyed himself. Anthony Joshua, as improbable as it sounds, he could destroy himself. That's what boxers tend to do. Sadly, we know from the blast from the past. But I think that you're right. I think that the sky's the limit. And I think that hopefully they don't let Joshua Wilder marinate too long. Although they do have the Joshua Fury match to make, I think Joshua Wilder is quicker. Fury's got 100 pounds to lose. So take it from me, that doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, well, Tyson Fury was the linear champ, and now he wants to get back in the ring. But I think the fight that everybody wants to see and what boxing really could use is Deontay Wilder backing up his BS, backing up his chest pounding, and getting in the ring with Anthony Joshua. The one thing I do enjoy about the Brits is that they have a tendency to fight the fights that people want. They don't let things marinate as long. And quite honestly, we have a big fight coming up this weekend where, Canelo Alvarez is trying to marinate a fight with Triple G, and it's already losing its luster. And I got news. I think that the boxing world is in for a shocker come early Sunday morning when Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. beats Canelo and really rocks the boat. I just have this strange feeling about that particular fight. But one last thing, Alex, before we let you go, your thoughts on Anthony Joshua, any negative aside from the stamina issue that you could see that he needs to work on as he moves forward?
Well, one thing that I think was unfortunate that we didn't see, but it was one of those things that you couldn't help it because of the magnitude of the event and just the noise level. We couldn't really hear the corners. So we don't know what he was being coached, between each round. So it's hard to say, well, his trainer should have focused on this and he didn't do this. He didn't do what his corner was saying because at least, in my viewing of it, I couldn't hear the corners. But he, I don't know. I'm sure his team will sit there and watch the tape and find some things to go over. But he fought. He answered a lot of questions and fought. A pretty terrific fight. So I don't know. The sky's the limit for him. I'm really so encouraged. I think this is a really bright day in boxing and a bright future. The future's so bright, we got to wear shades.
Very good, Alex.
Well, I agree with you with the corner and lack of instruction, and we really don't know what they said, but it seemed like first of all, you didn't hear much in Klitschko's corner. Somebody sent an email saying, what does he train himself? But in Joshua's corner, they pretty much were rah-rah men. At that point, maybe that's all he needed because it seemed to work, right?
Yeah, it worked. Well, and one of the things that I think in terms of Vlad, it could be that both of those guys it certainly seemed like they were on their own because, I couldn't hear the corners anyway, so it seemed like it was just athlete versus athlete. But one thing for certain, Vladimir Klitschko did Manuel Stewart proud. Emanuel Stewart always believed that Vlad Klitschko could be a great, big, strong guy and use that power. He did Saturday night. And for a while, it looked like he might actually do the unthinkable at 41 years old. Because in that sixth round, it looked like he was going to win. And the fifth round, too. So, I think that in terms of executing a plan, Emanuel Stewart would have been thrilled with that Vlad Klitschko. And maybe if he fought more like that, he would have been more embraced by American fans. But then that great fight Saturday night would have been on pay-per-view, and it would have been $120.
Good point. Hey, Alex, we'll catch up with you tomorrow during the blast, my man.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
All right,
Take
that's
care,
Alex Propali, and you can catch him tomorrow when we do the blast from the past. And, hey, Sal, let's take a short little break. When I come back, and I mean short, we're going to take a short break. When I come back, I'm going to talk a little about the fights that are going on tonight. So we'll be back in about a minute.
Billy C will be right back.
Check out
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us today. And don't forget about the post-fight show. That's right. This weekend, we're doing the Billy C. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Saul Canelo Alvarez post-fight show. We're going to kick it off right here So make sure you tune it in approximately 6 minutes after the official announcement is made. And don't forget, I know you may be watching us on many different platforms, and I know that many platforms have chat rooms and so on and so forth. But if you want to be part of the show and be included, your thoughts and stuff included in our discussion, make sure you come on over to the chat room on BillyCBoxing.com. I'm here with my man Sal Rocky Senakola. And Sal, we got a fight on tonight, Tuesday night fights. And the main event is putting Ivan Reddick going up against Argenis Mendez in the lightweight division. As a matter of fact, they both weighed over the lightweight division at 136. Reddick weighed 136.6, and Mendez weighed 136.8. So therefore, technically, it's the junior welterweight division because lightweight max is 135. But who knows what they contracted for that. But this fight will be on, and I just wanted to give a little rundown of these two fighters, if you're ready to hear that.
I am ready. I have my notepad. I'm going to take notes, and I want to hear you spew it out.
I want to see you watch the fight. That's what I want to see.
That's what I'm going to do.
There you go. So listen, first and foremost, Ivan Reddick is seemingly the favorite in this fight, or at least he's on what we call the A side. He's 31 years old. He's a southpaw that is 5'9.5". In that division, I mean, we've seen some tall lightweights, but 5'9.5" is still somewhat tall. I mean, his opponent is very similar in height, so that's not going to be an edge for him there.
That's a tall 135-pounder. No wonder he's 136.
But the computer has him at number 68, Reddick, and he's got a career record of 20 wins, 16 coming by knockout, with 2 losses in which he was stopped once, and he's got a draw. Now, his last 4 fights, 2 wins by knockout, his loss, one of his losses that he went to decision with, and a draw. Now, in his last 5 fights is where you see 2 losses, a draw, and 2 wins. He did get stopped by Dejan Zalakishian in 2015. He followed that with a third-round stoppage of Eric Daniel Martinez. He fought to a 10-round draw against Luis Cruz. Tevin Farmer bested him in 10. And then his last fight was against Damon Brock on January of this year. And he stopped Brock in the 8th round. Now, he steps in the ring with Argenis Mendez, who at one time was a top fighter. As a matter of fact, he was a former world champion. His first world title shot came against Juan Carlos Salgado in the super featherweight division, in which he lost a 12-round decision. But he got a rematch because of the controversial manner of that fight, and he fought Juan Carlos Salgado in March of 2013 and stopped Salgado with a 4th-round knockout. He followed that with another somewhat controversial fight against Arash Usmani. That fight was ruled a draw, and a lot of people thought Usmani won that fight. He fought Rancis Barthelemy next, and it ended in a 2-round no contest. Unintentional headbutt stopped the fight. And then Rancis Barthelemy and he fought again several months later, and this time Rancis Barthelemy wrestled the title from Argenis Mendez. Now, since then, he's 2-2. He won his next 2 fights. Daniel Evangelista, he knocked him out, and Miguel Vasquez, he won a 10-round decision. But Argenis Mendez is coming off of not 1 but 2 losses. He got stopped in 5 against Robert Easter Jr., and in his last fight, he went over to the UK and fought Luke Campbell in July of last year and lost a 12-round decision. He's ranked number 24 by the computer, and he's similar in age and height, like I said, but he's an orthodox fighter. He's 5'9". How do I see this fight going? Well, to tell you the truth, I think Argenis Mendez is the better fighter. Now, don't get me wrong. Ivan Reddick is a tough guy. He's a Ukrainian fighter, But I think Mendez is going to come out on top in this fight. I know you haven't had a chance to really look at this fight, Sal, but Mendez is living in Brooklyn right now, and Reddick is living in California. And I think they're going to represent the East and West Coast, even though neither one of them are from the States. I'm looking for this to be an exciting fight tonight for Tuesday Night Fights. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a good showdown. And what I could assess from what you shared with me, I will look for Mendez to be the victor, but we will see because there are many variables I still do not know. And I'll research it and I'll be watching it. It sounds like a good matchup, though.
Well, the thing that always I have to question, and I'll get your thoughts on it, is the fact that a fighter that, was a world champion and was extremely successful, has a couple of fights that don't go his own way, seems to get back on track, and then loses his last two fights, basically both times he fought in 2016. What kind of an impact does that make on a fighter mentally as he prepares for another, basically a showcase fight, because he'll be on national television?
Well, he's got to be looking right now into the mirror and saying that this is going to be a significant fight for himself, because he's got to get back and become the victor. He's got to look good doing it. Otherwise, you know what? He's one fight away from being typed as an opponent. And I think he's a better fighter than that from what I can assess and see. And I think right now we will see him coming out there fighting and coming out there guns a-blazing. And hopefully he'll rise to the occasion and recapture what he's emotionally going through right now. It's a hard thing to swallow when you not only lose a championship, but then you have defeats against people that you should have been able to beat. And, you realize you're not the undisputed whirlwind that you thought you may have been. And what you do is you don't cry over spilled milk. You learn, why did I lose those fights? What did I do that I could have done differently? And what do I negate and what do I incorporate? And I think if he's smart enough to assess where those questions to be answered will be now in his repertoire of arsenal to fight, then I think we're going to see a good fight from him. And he should realize that this is a pinnacle point in his career. Well, he's either going to get back on the fast track, or he's going to be sloping further down the hill. He's number 24. It's not a bad place to be right now, but tomorrow he could wake up not there at 24 or a little higher.
I think it's going to be an entertaining fight, and we'll be tuning in later to watch it. We'll be talking about it tomorrow. Let me just say this. We got some stuff going on. Later in the week, tomorrow, we'll be doing a blast from the past. Carlos Zarate, as requested by you guys, the fans. So Alex and I will be talking about him. We also scheduled to have Boxing Hall of Famer and New Jersey Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard join us. We'll get his thoughts on Anthony Joshua's victory over Vladimir Klitschko, and, of course, the potential showdown that we all want to see with Deontay Wilder. Then later in the week, we'll have some more reports from Dax Khan and social media. We'll try to open up the phone lines again on Friday, see how that works out. And the return of the trivia question. We will be doing that tomorrow, so make sure you listen to the show at the end when we do our trivia question. We give away prizes for that, for the first correct answer. And today's goal and tomorrow's trivia question goal is everyone has to beat Kevin, because Kevin's already asking for his prizes. He hasn't even won. He's in a chat room picking out his prizes already. Everybody's got to beat him at least, all right? And he's just basically going to get an autographed business card signed by me if he wins, but everyone else is going to get a really good prize. So anyway, on this day in boxing history, May 2nd, in 1998, Hasim Sharifi wins a 12-round decision over Keith Holmes to win the WBC World Middleweight title, and that took place in France. It took place in France. On this day in 1989, Meng Chai Kichasian wins a 12-round decision over Tacy Malakios to win the IBF World Junior Flyweight title, and took place in Bangkok. On this day in 1924, Young Stribling wins a 10-round decision over Tom Burns in a fight that they fought in Toronto, Canada. On this day in 1947, Sandy Sadler knocks out Joe Brown, and not the Joe Brown that's a lawyer on TV. This is the Joe Brown, the fighter, in 2 rounds of their scheduled 10-round fight, that took place in New Orleans. And on this day, May 2nd, in 1903, the late, great Stanley Ketchel makes his pro debut with a first-round knockout of Kid Tracy in Butte, Montana. Ketchel would go on to win the world middleweight title and was at the top of his game when he was shot and killed on October 15th in 1910. He was 24 years old. He had a career record of 51 wins, 48 coming by knockout. He had 2 losses. He had 4 draws, and he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990. And that's what took place on this day in boxing history on May 2nd. Sal, any final thoughts before we wrap it up, my man?
No, sir. I think we had a good show and a good recap of the heavyweight championship. And, I'll just say, I was thinking, as we said, we saw a great fight. We did. But I have long removed the idea that we are ever, ever, ever going to see another heavyweight championship fight like we were blessed with when we saw the old legacy of Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali or any other kind of fights from that era like that. But I'll tell you what, as Alex was suggesting, maybe this is a new era that is evolving and coming out. And we're going to see some new facets in boxing that I think we can look forward to, Billy.
Well, it sounds good, my man. So listen, to everybody out there watching and listening, no matter where you are, don't forget, make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.
Whoops.